Starting Tractate Sotah, Daf Yud Gimel, page 13. The name of the chapter is Amikana, is the first chapter. And we'll start from Yosef Zocho. It's about 2, 4, 6, 8 lines on the top. Yosef Zocho, Yosef was privileged to bury his father. The Gemara says, why is it that initially, when the Torah describes the groups going to the land of Canaan, it says, Vayal Yosef likbo esavib. Yosef went to bury his father. Vayalu iti kol avdei Pharaoh, and with him went up all of Pharaoh's servants. V'hadar v'chol veis Yosef ve'echol veis aviv, and then, as well as all of Yosef's household and his brothers and his father's household. And why at the end it says, Vayashov Yosef Mitzrayim uve'echol. Yosef returned to Mitzrayim, he and his brothers. And then, as well as all who had gone up with him to bury his father. Why did the Torah put the Egyptians ahead of the brothers upon their departure, yet it puts the brothers ahead of the Egyptians upon their return? So in the first one it says, Vayalu ito, Yosef went to bury his father, Vayalu ito kol avdei Pharaoh, and then the servants of Pharaoh. And then it says about his brothers and the house of his father. And at the end, when they're returning, it says Yosef come Mitzrayim together with his brothers, and then later it speaks about the Egyptians. That in the beginning, the Egyptians did not. Before the Egyptians saw the honor of Israel, the honor rendered at his funeral, they did not treat Yaakov's descendants with respect. At the end, they witnessed their honor, they treated them with respect. It says they came to Goren Otod, the threshing floor of the thorn. Now, is it possible that there is a threshing floor for thorns? So it comes to teach us that they surrounded Yaakov's coffin with their crowns, similar to a threshing floor that people surround with thorn bushes as a security measure. That the descendants of Esau, the descendants of Ishmael, the descendants of Keturah, all came there. Tana kulam lemilchama. They actually came for battle. Kevan shiro kisra shel Yosef. They saw the crown of Yosef, tolui ba'aroina shel Yaakov, hanging from Yaakov's coffin. Not lukulo kisrei, and they took off their crown and usalum ba'aroina shel Yaakov, and hung them upon Yaakov's coffin. Tana shloshim v'shish oktov nislu ba'aroinos. It says 36 crowns were hung upon Yaakov's coffin. 36 crowns. 2 times high of crowns. And then they held very great and imposing eulogy. Tenan, susim afilu chamorim, even horses and even donkeys, once the burial party reached the cave of Machpelah, also Esau of Yaakov's brother, came and put obstacles to burial in the cave. Omar lo, and he started arguing. Mamre in the city of 4, which is Hebron. Kiryas Arba, city of 4. It is called the city of 4 because this burial cave has place for only 4 pairs of people. 8 people total. He said, 4 pairs. Adam and Chava is 1. Avram and So is 2. Yitzchak and Rivka is 3. Yaakov and Leah is 4. Now, Esau's argument was, he buried Leah in the space that was rightfully his. V'ai defoish didiu, but the one that is left, the remaining spot, is mine. Esav said, Omule zabinto. So they told him, 1 second, but Yaakov bought it from you. Omulu zabini bechirusa. Granted, I sold the extra portion I would have received as a firstborn. I sold it to him. Pshituso mizabini. But when did I ever sell the standard portion I am received as a son? So I only sold to him the extra portion I have, but the regular portion I did not sell him. Omule in. They told him, yes, you did sell the standard portion in the cave as well. So the Chtiv, B'krivri asher korisi li, when Yaakov asked Yosef to bury him in Eretz Yisrael, he said, bury me in my grave which I have acquired. So the word kira means mechira, an acquisition. So sheken bechal kayam kira mechira kiro, because in the cities of the sea, in the cities abroad, they would call selling by the term kira. So when Yaakov said korisi li, he meant the plot that I've purchased. Oh maleu. So Esav said, you know what? Show me the contract. Avulei gato. Show me the deed. Amulei gato be'od Mitzrayim. The letter of sale is in the land of Mitzrayim. Uman Ezer Naphtali. Who we send Naphtali, because Naphtali was quick, swift as a hind. Kali Kayalto. The Chtiv Naphtali Shluch Hanesim Rishofer, who delivers beautiful sayings. Amu Abiyabawa Tikri Imri Shofer Ela Imri Sefer, but rather Imri Sefer. Naphtali is the one who will deliver the document containing the legal statement. Imri Sefer. He is the one to bring the legal. Chushim Brei the Don Tamunav. Chushim, the son of Dan, was there at the confrontation. V'yakrina le'udne. However, it was hard of hearing. Some say literally his ears were heavy. So he had not heard what was happening. He said, what is happening? What's the delays for? So this one, Esau, is blocking us from proceeding with the burial, giving us a hard time. And until Naphtali comes back from the land of Egypt, my grandfather will be laying here in disgrace. Shokal Kulfo, Chushim took hold of a staff, Machia Reishe, and hit Esau on his head, killing him. Nosron Esau Einei, Esau's eyes popped out. Venoflu akaro de Yaakov, and fell on Yaakov's feet. Paschinu Yaakov laene ve'achich. Yaakov opened his eyes and smiled. V'ayinu dichtiv, and this is the meaning of that which is written. What does it say? Ismach tzadi kichozo nokom. Kichozo nokom pe'omov irchatz bedam harosha. The righteous one will rejoice when he sees vengeance. He shall bathe his feet in the blood of the wicked one. The decades-old prophecy of their mother Rivka was fulfilled in part. Dichtiv, Lama eshkol gam shneichem yemechot. So when she was telling Yaakov to go away from Esau so he doesn't kill you, so she told him this prophecy, and which means why should I be bereaved of both of you on the same day? Even though their death were not on the same day, but their burial happened the same day. Vilos like by Yosef, if Yosef would have not been involved in Yaakov's burial, obviously the brothers would be involved. It says that his sons carried him to the land of Canaan, and they buried him in the cave of the Machpelah. So the Yosef said to the brothers, let me do it because it's going to give our fathers more honor that Melachim, which Yosef was a king, that he is involved with his burial. So the Gemara says, who was treated with as much honor as Yosef? Come and see how mitzvahs are favorable to Moshe Rabbeinu. The Jewish people were involved with, at the time of the splitting of the sea, they're involved with picking up the spoil of war, the booty, the waste,
all the jewelry and all this junk that the Egyptians
all the jewelry
that to the beach.
The Bisa of the Yam. It says that what they found at the sea was greater than what they took from its sign.
The Rebbe had a sikha on it that Moshe had an argument with them.
Right, he had to chase them out.
But their argument was they were getting the
sparks,
the
yeah?
Sparks.
They're gathering the sparks.
They were doing a mitzvah by getting this stuff.
So he says, the whole Jewish people in their entirety were engaged in gathering the booty of Egypt. And he was occupied with mitzvahs. Moshe, as it says, the wise of heart will seize mitzvahs, etc. So, how did Moshe know where Yosef was buried? Serach was the daughter of Asher, remained alive from that generation. Moshe said to Serach, do you know where Yosef is buried? The Egyptians made a metal coffin for him. They set it in the Nile River so that the waters should be plentiful and irrigate all the fields. Moshe went and stood upon the bank of the Nile. He said he said, Yosef, the moment about which God swore that I will redeem you has arrived. And therefore the time for the fulfillment of the oath that you made with the Jewish people, swear to take your bones with them. If you show yourself now, it is well and good. We will take your remains with us. But if you do not show yourself, we are absolved of your oath. Immediately the coffin of Yosef floated to the surface. Do not be amazed how iron could float. It happened, one of Elisha's disciples was felling a beam that the iron fell into the water. He cried out and said, woe is me, my master, it is borrowed shoal, I borrowed it. The man, Elisha, asked him, where did this beam fell? And he showed him the place. Elisha then cut a piece of wood, threw it there, and the iron blade floated up. Elisha was a disciple of Eliyahu. Eliyahu Talmid of Moshe. Eliyahu was Talmid of Moshe Rabbeinu. So of Baal Miponov, the iron floated on account of Elisha. On account of Moshe, all the more so that iron will float. Yosef was buried in the royal catacombs. Moshe went and stood next to the royal catacombs. Omar Yosef Igia Eish Nishvakish Baruch Shani Goel Escha. The moment about which God swore that I will redeem you has arrived. V'gesh Washish Bate Soil, and now it's a time of the oath that you made with the Jewish people to take you out when they leave. If you show yourself fine. But if not, we are absolved of your oath. Yosef's coffin trembled. Not lo Moshe took it and brought it with him. All those years that the Jewish people were in the desert. They were traveling with two arks. One of the ark of Shechina, divine ark, and the second one is Yosef. So Malchin Zemza, they would travel together. The passerby would say, what is the nature of these two caskets? One belongs to a dead man. One belongs to the divine presence. What's the connection? That person is traveling next to the Shechina. So the answer, he fulfilled this one, the one that, so the ark of Yosef, he fulfilled everything that says in the ark, which contained the Torah. If Moshe was not involved with the burial, the Jews were not involved. The bones that were taken out of Mitzrayim, bones of Yosef, they buried in Shechem. If the Jewish people were not involved with it, the children of Yosef would be involved with the burial. Obviously, we see that the children of Yosef were involved in the burial. They said there's more honor if a lot of people are involved with his burial than the few. And the greater ones, Moshe Rabbeinu was involved with it. It's better than regular people. Why was he buried in Shechem? Yosef was kidnapped, stolen in Shechem. And to Shechem, I think Shechem is today called Nablus.
It's outside of it, yeah.
Yeah, but anyhow, you have to return him to Shechem. There's contradiction in the Pesukim. It says Moshe took the bones of Yosef with him. And then it says that Bnei Soil are the one that took the bones. So who was it, Yosef or Moshe?
Did you ever go to cover Yosef?
If you do something and you're not completing it, the pasuk is considered the one who completed it as if he did it. Is even taken from his greatness. It says about the story with Yehuda that Yehuda lost or descended from its greatness. What does it say over there? That even so, we saw that Yehuda said, what was the Yehuda statement? Yehuda said, let's not kill Yosef. What gain will there be if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Let us sell him to Ishmaelites. So he began the mitzvah of rescuing Yosef, but did not complete the mitzvah. His intention was obviously to rescue Yosef from his brothers, but did not complete because he ended up being sold, and then he was away, and they didn't know where he was. So what happened to Yehuda right after? Vayered Yehuda me'esecho. He lost his greatness. He also buried his wife and his sons. The wife of Yehuda passed away, and also his children. Died. Amar Beud, Amar Rav, Pnei Manikra Yosef, Atzmus B'chayav. Why does it say Atzmus Yosef during his lifetime? Because he did not object on behalf of his brothers, on behalf of his father's honor. Because the brothers, when they were speaking to Yosef, not knowing that they're speaking to Yosef, they said to him, Avdecha, they said the words Avdecha Avinu, your servants, our father. He should have said to them, why do you say that your father is my servant? I don't even know him. He's not here. Why do you attribute to him that he is my servant? So since he did not respond, it says that it was some kind of a punishment, that even during his lifetime, it says Atzmus Yosef, the bones of Yosef. Why was Yosef buried before Yosef passed away before his brothers at 110 years old? So he was the first one to die among his brothers. Meshini got to bonus because he carried himself with excessive authority. The Gemara in Psochim 87b also tells us that power buries its possessors. So power is not always a good thing. I guess the responsibility that comes along with it, and the obligations and stress and the like. Yosef was brought down to Mitzrayim. Don't say he was brought down, but rather hoirid. That Yosef, he lowered powers astrologers from their positions of greatness. Before he came, they were the great ones. Now he comes and
because he showed them up.
They paled in comparison to his.
Right, because he had the right.
Because he was the actual one that was able to interpret the dreams.
Right, exactly.
So Vaikneu Potiphar Suspar. Potiphar, a courtier of power, purchased him. Amarav Shekino La'atzim. Potiphar bought Yosef for himself, for his own illicit purposes. He thought he was attracted to Yosef's handsomeness. That's why he purchased Yosef. Usually you would say nothing new under the sun at this point.
He was a gay blade.
No, that's the guy that goes for both, because he had wife and children.
Right, but in the end, he ended up being totally on the dark side.
Yeah.
You'll see. I mean.
Anyway, so it says Amarav Sheknoi La'atzmi. He bought him for himself.
Oh yeah, look at this.
But Gabriel comes and emasculated him.
Put him on a chopping block.
Yeah, Potiphar was safe Potiphar, because we see it from the wording of the pasuk. It says in the beginning his name is Potiphar, and then Potiphera, which alludes to the transformation of his
into a eunuch.
What's a eunuch?
Where they took care of his
member
and debates him.
Yeah, got rid of his system. Anyhow, Moshe, who is greater, who is treated with as much honor as Moshe? Hashem said to him, to Moshe, Rav Loch, Amar Levi, what is Rav Loch? It is too much for you. Amar Levi, Rav Bisa, Rav Bisru. Rav Bisa, Rav Loch. Because when the whole story with Korach happened, so Moshe was trying to convince them to stop this machlokes, to stop the dispute.
Yeah.
So he said to them, you have too much, Rav Lochem. So they responded to him, now Hashem is answering in the same way, you also have too much. Another interpretation of Rav Yeshloch, you have a Rav, you have a master waiting to assume your power. Who is the waiting to assume your power was Yeshua. Umanu Yeshua. Rav Loch. How harsh is the master that is referring to Hashem? They don't want people to say that. And how imploring is the student in pleading incessantly. Even after the master has made it clear that he will not relent. That's a famous Parashat Vaischanon, with Moshe davened 515 times, asking Hashem to let him in. Tan Rabbi Shmuel, from Gam Shichna, according to the camel, is the burden, which means just as one increases the heaviness of the burden based on the camel's strength, so too God judges a person with great exactitude based on his level of righteousness. Moshe said to them, "Ben I'm 120 years old today. Shema Talmud Shein Talmud Lema Hayoim." For the Torah to say today, the meaning would have been the same if Moshe would said simply, "I'm 120 years old." Why did I have to say Hayoim? So today my days and years have been filled. On this day I was born, and on this day I shall die. To teach you that the Holy One, blessed is He, completes the years of the righteous. From day to day and from month to month. God allows the righteous to live out their final year until the very day of the very month in which they were born. As it is written that God said, the number of your days I will complete. Exodus 23:26. Then Moshe said, I can no longer go out and come in. My lotzes ve'lovei. What does it mean, go out and come? He said it's literally that he was not able to go out and come in. His strength was depleted. Moshe was 120 years old when he died. His vigor had not diminished. Moshe ascended from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo. There were 12 steps. Moshe took them in a single step. Obviously, if he could leap over 12 steps, he was physically strong enough to go out and come in. So the Gemara explains, Shmuel said in the name of Rabbi Menashe, Moshe meant he was no longer able to go out and come in words of Torah. The gates of wisdom were closed to him. They were closed to him at this time. Moshe and Yeshua went and stood in the tent of meeting. That Shabbos was a Shabbos of the peers. The congregation saw their outgoing leader and their incoming leader on the same day. Authority was taken from this one, Moshe, and invested in this one, in Yeshua. If there were not a verse written to this effect, it would be impossible for us to say this on our own. Where did Moshe die? In the portion of Reuven. As it is written, Moshe ascended from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo. And Nebo stands in Reuven's portion, as it is written, children of Reuven built Nevoi. Nebo was a place that 3 prophets have died. Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. Moshe is buried in the portion of God, because it's pasuk says the portion of where the mechoikik is, the one who gave the Torah, one who wrote the laws, who gave out the laws, is Sofun. That's where he is hidden. God saw the beginning of the conquest of the land for himself, where he knew that there is hidden plot of the lawgiver. What's the distance between the portion of God and the portion of Reuven? 4 million. It's 4 mil, which is 1.1 and 1.5 miles. Very close. Who carried Moshe's body? Those 4 meal. This teaches that Moshe lay within the hold of the remnant of splendor of the divine presence. His Moshe body was transported to his grave. The ministering angels were saying is elegy. What's elegy?
It's like a cheshbon. I don't know. You know what they do?
Not eulogy, elegy. Tzidkas Hashem also mishpatum Yisrael. So he carried out the righteousness of Hashem, his ordinances with Israel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Omer, and Hashem responded, Mi yakum le'merei, mi yisatzel impal le'oven. Who will rise up for me against evildoers? Who will stand up for me against the doers of iniquity? Shmuel said that the elegy of the Holy One, blessed is he, for Moshe was mi ke'achochom u'mi yodea peshel dovo. Who is like the wise man, and who knows the resolution of a matter? Like Moshe, Rabbi Yochanan said that his elegy was, where can it be found? But as for wisdom, where can it be found? Rav Nachman said, Moshe, servant of Hashem, died there in the land of Moab by the mouth of Hashem. Smalian said, Smalian is an
angel.
Yeah, name of an angel. Moshe, Safo Rabbi Yisrael, Moshe, the great scholar of the Jewish people, died there. Tanya Rabbi Lezer Gadol Emer, Rabbi Lezer the Great says, Shnei Mosor Mil or Shnei Mosor Mil, over an area of 12 mil by 12 mil, Keneged Machne Yisrael, corresponding to the site of the Israelite camp. Baskol Mashmir Vaimer, a heavenly voice resounded, saying, Vayomos Moshe Safo Rabbi Yisrael, Moshe the great scholar of the Jewish people, died. Some say Moshe did not die. Moshe died there. And it's written elsewhere. He remained there with Hashem for 40 days. Just as there Moshe was not dead, but rather was standing in service of God, so to here at the end of Moshe's 120 years, it did not die, but rather standing in service of God. Voice of a guy, he buried him in the depression, Mul Beis Peor, the land of Moab, opposite of Beit Peor. Amar B'Birchia, Simon B'Tich Simon, guide spot after guidepost after guidepost in describing this location. Even with all these guideposts, Lo Yoda Ishas K'vos, no one knows his burial place this day. And the evil regime of Rome already sent emissaries to look for him, and they could not find him. We'll continue, God willing, tomorrow with the whole incident of how they were trying to find the burial of Moshe, were unsuccessful. Buchim Tiyu. We have a short video on Shulchan Aruch soon.